Hi, everybody. This is Vladimira Kuna, and we have amazing Sean McGeough here. Hi, Sean. You all right?
I'm fantastic, Flatty. Thank you so much for having me on and speaking to me today.
Absolute pleasure. Your book really got me interested into a subject, so tell us more.
Yes, my best-selling book, I have to put that in there as well, is called Tarot for Modern Times. So my book, it's right here. It's pretty much, I've been reading the tarot from I was 13. I'm 33, so that is 20 years I've been reading the tarot. Now, I've been working with spirit professionally for the past 10 years. So that means that's been like my full-time job. And see, over the past decade of doing like paid readings for clients, I started to see similar things come up for my clients that mean things that aren't in a traditional tarot deck. So if you know the tarot, you'll know that there's things like, a journey by road and you're moving house and you're going to have a baby. Because that's all that we could really do way back then was you got married, you had a baby and you moved house. But we live in a very different world today, where the relationships for people don't end in marriage, they end in living together. Or there's things like social media, bank fraud. There's so many different things that go on in today's world that didn't even happen 20 years ago. So, whenever I'm reading my clients' cards, I would see something that wasn't a traditional tarot meaning, but it would come up time and time and time again for the same card. And obviously, tarot readings, there's that aspect of them that is evidential that my client can understand because it's either who they are, what's going on with them, or what has went on with them. So when my clients would confirm these new meanings, these modern meanings, I began to mark them down. As you can probably see in behind there, there's loads of wee notepads. So I would document all these things over the years, and there would be little tallies and little text going, okay, so I've seen social media with this card 17 times now, and my client said yes. So I put all that together and thought to myself for years, I'm going to write this book. I'm going to write the book. God, it's going to be brilliant. I'm going to put it out there. And every time I tried to write the book, Flappy, it just would not happen. And I tried and I got frustrated and I didn't know what I was doing. And then it was actually this year, believe it or not, well, it was either January or February. Peggy McCall was doing she done a free 4-day training.
Yep.
I think it was your book, your breakthrough, your business.
Yes.
So that was February this year. So I had a big year last year business wise. I developed a training program, changed my business, and then this year I was sitting going, don't know what to do. See those 4-day training with Peggy that she done totally free, and it just really goes to show you how much value she gives.
Yeah.
See, after those 4 days, I wrote my book and I went bestseller in 2 hours.
Love it.
So
Love
my
it.
book, Tarot for Modern Times, it is a workbook. It isn't, a book that has pages and pages and pages per card. It's not a very big book, but what it does is it's divided up into 3 different sections. So section 1 is each card individually. It has the traditional meanings plus the modern meanings.
Yeah.
So it has a little space in between or underneath for you to write out your own where you see these as well.
Okay.
So it's designed for people that no matter what deck that you use, you get the card that you use from your deck. You see the meanings that I give, and then you have space to write down where you see the meanings. So we can use any tarot deck. Um, so that's part 1 of the deck. Part 2 is card combinations. Now, I've been reading the tarot 20 years. I've been teaching the tarot from 2013. So one of the main things that I find with people, whether they be professional readers or brand new, is reading different card combinations. So that means like what happens when a cups falls out with a swords. That tends to confuse a lot of people. So I've actually got a section that's dedicated solely to card combinations. But because I'm so cool, I further divided up section 2 into themes. So then you have love, health, money, business. So you have all that type of stuff in there as well. And then section 3 is sample readings, pulling it all together, and the spreads that I've been using for the past 10 years in my business, either in a teaching capacity or with my clients. Plus, there's also bonus resources as well that's in the book. So there's info how to get onto my little Facebook group or an email address to email me, and I'll send you video lessons, because the tarot has been a part of my life for 20 years daily. You know, like I haven't stopped talking, by the way. You know?
Listen, I'm fascinated by this.
You're just like, yep.
Yeah.
I got my first deck of tarot when I was 13. And I will remember this story. It's in the book. I will tell it anyway. It only takes a few moments. I remember this story until the day God calls me. I used to spend a lot of time with my aunt, who has now passed away, when I was growing up. So I was very close to her kids. And just at the weekends, she would have given me pocket money, the same as her own children. So she would normally give me £10. This one weekend, she only had £8 after giving her kids. But £8 to a 13-year-old is still a lot of money.
Yes.
So I remember going to the local shopping centre, and there was an isnt, if you remember isnt, the
Yes.
book place.
Yes.
And they had this book and deck of tarot cards. Purple deck, I still remember it, or purple box. It was $6.99. So I was able to buy the tarot deck and a bar of chocolate for the £8 that my aunt had given me. And I just never looked back, to be honest. That was just me obsessed from a teenager. Like, I would have used the cards not so just to see what was going to happen, but to help figure out my own head. You know, growing up is a very, very confusing thing for people. And then you throw in, you know, your extrasensory, your, you know, this, that, and the other. All these things can be very, very overwhelming. So I would use the cards to figure out, you know, my own self and my relationships with family and friends. And, you know, so there's so much to the tarot that is more so than just, you know, this is what's going on and this is what's going to happen. But that's my book, and yeah, I launched it. Surprisingly or not surprisingly, strangely enough, I released the book on my aunt's first anniversary. I didn't realize that. So it was the aunt that gave me the money, and with just watching it climb up the ranks in Amazon, in 2 hours I went top 10 in 3 categories.
Love it. Love it. I absolutely love that. Say, I must contact you and have a look. So is it easy for people to actually just get the book and understand it, even if they don't know what they're doing?
Absolutely. It is wrote in such a way that it is for brand new people or people that are experienced, because I'm quite heavily dyslexic. So anytime I was reading books or trying to read books on the tarot, it was very off-putting, because there would have been a lot of pages per card, where mine is just keywords.
Okay.
So it's you know, like these are the wee cards that I use here, and I know you're going to be all excited that I'm taking them out of the drawer, aren't you? So I can demonstrate what I mean. So these are the wee cards that I use here. These are the Faulkner Tarot, and these are the first modern deck of tarot cards. They have images of everyday life on them. So pretty much, if you, whatever card deck that you use, you get your cards and just go, right, here's the full. Let's open up the deck or the book and see what it means. So then I'll have my meanings here, and you just write below where you see those meanings in your cards.
Okay.
So it's a workbook. It's designed to be worked. It's designed to be loved. It's not just something that you sit and read in one go. I do recommend, if you're brand new, get the book and do a card a day. You know, look at one card, look at the meaning, spend your time, let it go into the subconscious mind. If you're a bit more experienced, you can take a couple of cards, I suppose, you know, and just work through it. Yeah, it's so
I love
easy.
that. I love that. And we had a chat, and you've developed a couple of programs which are amazing. Is it the mediumship training program and the 6-path tarot course? Could you tell us more about that?
This is it. Absolutely. Like last year, as you know, it's been a crazy time for people. Like the whole world just completely changed. But the good thing about me working so heavily online for years was I was so clued into Zoom and this, that, and the other. So whenever we were told like lockdown and you're not allowed people in your house, I was already developing, in actual fact, a training program for mediums. Teaching is one of my passions. So I developed a training program that is like no other training program out there. Mediumship training is very much, traditionally where it's you give a message and everybody claps and you sit down again, where there's not an awful lot I find of practical and theory and things very well structured. So I decided to put a 8-month training program together that is part theory and part practical. So I have a membership site for all my students that has over 30 lessons on it, spread over 7 modules that they get weekly for 8 months. Okay. And it starts right at us being a soul, having a physical experience, and then it moves through everything like the psychic senses, spirit guides, how to give psychic readings, meditation, mediumship. So that's all over an 8-month period that my clients or my students actually work away on. And then we meet on Zoom for our practical application of what we learn a couple of times a month. So that's a brand new type of training. It is internationally accredited as well. I'm an approved trainer through the International Practitioners of Holistic Medicine. So that means they've went through my training program and they think it's good quality. Yeah, so that was last year, so that's up and running. I think between last year and this year alone, I think I've had 45 students have went through the program, which is great considering it's 8 months, so I've had 2 runs of that, and I like to keep numbers small enough that everybody gets attention. So it's just grew and changed. And then from writing the book, my book, Tarot for Modern Times, then people were going, are you making this into a course? And I was like, well, I don't think I could teach it in a short period of time. So then that turned into my 6-month training program that is specifically on the tarot. So it's like going through all of the cards individually, very much like the book, and learning how to do different styles of readings, different themed readings, and also more importantly, what I find people don't understand about the tarot is how to use the tarot for personal development, for personal growth, because that's what the tarot was originally made for. It was originally made to help get us closer to source. It's just somewhere along the line fortune tellers started using them, psychics started using them, and they then got more cards added into them. But originally, like they are the major arcana are supposed to be those major events in life or those major things that we go through in our own minds that are hurdles or obstacles and how to overcome them in order to grow and become closer with source. So there are things that I teach in my program, like so.
So whoever is interested in a deeper understanding of the book would go through the 6 months program, which is great. Absolutely. Because I love that. I really, it's really interesting. I mean, as I've mentioned to you before, I've had only one reading done before, but I'm tempted to give it a go. I'm tempted to give anything go,
Well, this is it. You want to be open to all new things. A lot of people think, oh my goodness, the tarot, it's something scary, and it's absolutely not at all. Like I had someone message me recently and she said, oh, I'm a bit afraid of booking a tarot reading. And I just replied, dear, why are you afraid of a bit of card with a pretty picture on it? Because really that's what it is, I like to reduce things down to the absurd. And it's like it's a card, it's got a pretty picture. Why are you afraid? Like, do you want me to pick a couple of cards for you so that we can see they're nothing to be afraid of? We can have a wee look and just see what goes on. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you're like, absolutely. I'll send you a bill afterwards, don't worry.
It's fine. Bill me.
So generally what we'll do is we'll just have a wee look, a wee overview, Vladdy, of say maybe where you're at the moment and what's to come. Now, I am a firm believer that, God give us free will. We make our own future as we go along.
Yes.
But as you know, we make our own future as we
Yes.
go along. So,
Because
you
we
know,
have a choice, and I love what you've done with your time, because we all have the same time. It's how efficiently we're using it. And
yes,
so many people, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, just took a stroll on the whole pandemic, going, oh, but you know, it's hard and it's all this. Yes, we are all limited, because all of a sudden we lost partly of freedom, and freedom is a huge thing in our life. But I've published my book as well. I've went into the personal development, because you can turn it whichever way you want to turn it. You either look at the good, or you just choose to stand back. And it's like Bob says, if you're and Peggy as well, you know, like, if you're not growing, you're not really living. You need to be moving forward, otherwise you actually are moving backwards. And you know, it's true.
Yeah, there is no such thing as staying still. Energy is always, always moving, and you know, you gotta hit the ground running, and you gotta keep going with it. So we picked a couple of wee cards for you, Flatty. So the first wee card that we have is the moon card. Sorry, my ring light's on, so it's a wee bit blurry. Yep. So the moon card is the first wee card. The next wee card is the two of cups. Maybe I should switch my wee ring light off. And we'll see them a bit better. So we have the moon. Yeah. And then we have the two of cups, which is the beautiful wee couple. And then we have the Knight of Wands, which is a fantastic card. So I like my cards. They're quite modern. There's nothing really spooky about them. But the moon card sort of shows where you're at the moment. And the moon card is always, I have to say, that wee bit of it's a caution, but it's not a bad caution. So it always comes with that wee bit of a slow down, Vladdy, slow down, you know. So that's what that wee card would be coming up and suggesting. Okay, we're maybe taking stock of things, we're reevaluating things, and we're seeing what is the best sort of direction for us to move forward in. And when the wee moon card comes up, it is absolutely fantastic for going, stop, take a wee look around, take a wee breather, and know that it's okay to slow down and enjoy where you are, even though that we just said, you know, we're always moving forward. But slow down and very much enjoy the process. Now, the Two of Cups card on top of that would say, see the things that you're re-evaluating, see the things that you're thinking of changing, stick to what you love. Okay, and make a decision in doing that. Now, obviously, you're in the mindset, so you know persistence and decision. See, whenever we become committed to what we love and we let go of the things that, you know, were slowing us down, maybe, then will come the absolutely fantastic things, because the wee Knight of Wands card is the card that talks about the celebration. So I know that there's also stuff that you're working on that you probably haven't told anybody that you're working on, and we're waiting on that coming out. So I know that there is going to be success. As we can see, there's the big bottle of cider there. So we've got the big bottle of Magners. So I know that there's the celebration that's happening. I also get the feeling with this wee card as well that you need to connect with a few people around you. I don't know if you've been Mrs. Work mode, work the past little while, and you've let maybe a few wee friendships go to the side, not in a bad way. It's just, this is who I am now and this is what I'm doing. But I do feel the need very much to connect with a few wee people around you once you have the time to do that. So do schedule that in, and that is very much, again, looping it back around to the moon. Do you know that? Careful, slow down. You don't want to be rushing too far ahead and cutting people off before, you know, we actually realize what we've done, because I feel like you could sort of be like that. Do you remember that cartoon years ago, the Tasmanian Devil, where it's like whirling around? That is the way that
Listen, you're pretty much spot on. People don't know this, and I should not be recording this, but you are spot on.
Good.
Yeah, you are.
So you can edit it out if you want, but guys, that is hard. Now, that's a very small portion of what I do. You know, I go into a lot more detail in a one-to-one reading.
Now I want to know more details.
So, you know, my clients come to me with specific things. This is what I want you to look at, and I'll 100% get into it, you know, but it's a very easy thing to, well, to me, it's easy. I've been doing it 20 years, and it's, you know, just all about trying to give that client, okay, maybe look at it from this different perspective, you know, because sometimes we get our blinders on and we keep charging ahead, and it's like, whoa, slow down. If you forgot about this or think about that, so you know, it's great. I'm excited to see what the new stuff is.
I love you said that, because actually I got that message. I did get that message not that long ago, a few weeks ago, to slow down. And I've connected to Source, started writing a book, and actually my big thing over the last probably 6 weeks is reevaluation. I took a step back, looking at things that work and don't, changing some things, which actually people didn't know. So you picked on it really fast. But it's true. I was like a double speedy wheel, and that is like what I'm learning, to slow down. I'm kind of a very speedy in things.
And it'll benefit you in the long run. So if you slow down, it'll only help accelerate you. It was the feeling that I was getting, so that's good.
Yes, it's true. It is true. And you know why I'm gonna focus on the Magners, because that's my favorite cider.
Great, go for it.
I love you said Magners. I was like, no way.
It might be 20 to 10 in the morning, but I'm supporting you having a Magner. So
I will come and have the Magners with you in Ireland.
Love it. Fantastic.
Oh, bless. Thank you so much. Well, is there anything else you could add to your beautiful book?
But you know,
where can people buy that? I will put all the links for Sean, so you can connect to him directly regarding anything. So I mean, all the links will be there for everybody.
The book is on Amazon, so it's great. You just type in Tarot for Modern Times. Like my website, it's easy to get me, psychicinthecity.co.uk. Just, you know, keep a wee eye. Sometimes they give away free copies as an ebook. Just because I really want people to know, you know, the book's already went bestseller, it's already sold, I've already, you know, I just want people to learn, and I want people to be as obsessed with the tarot as what I am, so.
Love it. Thank you so much. This was absolutely brilliant. I love to learn. I love my reading. Thank you. Very appreciated.
You're very welcome.
And everybody, just a link to Sean, because, you know, he's got loads and loads of amazing, impressive stuff, and impacting positively people is just really good. And I love, like, people when they open to try things, test things, do anything, because you never know what you do. You take a baby step, but each time you try something else, you may actually discover, oh, actually, this may move me forward. And we underestimate what we come across and how much we're limiting ourselves and putting ourselves in a box, but not testing things because of the belief. And I love when you mentioned it. I grew up, well, I've mentioned this before we actually started the interview. I came across this tarot reader in Asia when we traveled backpacked in Asia, and she was giving me a message. And I didn't believe in it because my parents didn't believe in it. It was always something that, you know, all these cards, you know. But when you start understanding how many things we didn't believe, like personal development, the way we're studying, and the stuff just works. So when people are open and accept and allow it, if you allow the things and test them, I mean, they may help you to do it. No, they will always help you, but you find the things, and you only find the thing that will move you forward when you test it. If you don't experience, you can't know.
This is it. And the great thing about the likes of the work that we do, you know, you would be a mindset coach and I do tarot, you know, but the thing is, our people come to us and we can see their lives from a different perspective. Whether it be I see it in the cards or you see it in the material that you teach, you know, where it's people come in and they get that different perspective from us. If they listen to us, that's great, and if they don't, they don't. But you know, it's always that I find that different perspective can blow your awareness open. You know, if you allow it to. So, and again, it's just the tool that you use. My tool is tarot. Your tool would be teaching mindset, and you know, so
it's the same message. But you know, I love when you said perception, because when I did stop, and I need to stop more and reevaluate, perception is one of the things that comes up all the time. And I've been studying how perception is critical in everything. It's the door. I think it's the door to success. You change the perception at any point, any day, you can always change. But unless you make the choice to change, you look at your 5 years back, and I say this to clients, like, look last 5 years where you got. Well, that's, you're gonna probably, if you don't change, your next 5 years gonna be that or worse. And the kind of work and kind of effort you put into anything, that kind of result you get.
Yeah.
And it's taking the responsibility, like, okay, now is the time to change. It's now. You can only change now, not tomorrow, not the next week, and not next year. And people just make these decisions for future and never get anywhere because you have to change now. So
all we have is now. So all we have is right now. Yes. And it's, yeah, you make the change or don't really. And the good thing is, like, you know, having people like me and having people like you in the world, you know, is great to say to people, well, look, have you maybe tried doing this? Or, you know, this worked for me, or why don't you, you know, so if you can change things for the better, go for it. I'm a big believer in that, you know?
I am as well, because if you eat pizza whole life, you're not going to enjoy it. You know, I want to test every single possible flavor there is, and then you can choose, okay, this is not my favorite, actually. This is not, but unless you try them all, you never know.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this time. I had a brilliant time. Appreciate the moment. It was so nice to hear. And congratulations on becoming a bestseller. That's amazing. Always amazing. Yes, victory pose. Magners would be nice now.
Well, this is it. This is it. If I wasn't too busy today doing readings, I probably would.
Yeah, I'm sure we will meet for Magners one day.
Yes.
and yeah, so everybody connect to Sean, and thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye.